There are numbers that tell you where you stand, not compared to social media, not compared to the strongest person in your gym, compared to established body weight relative strength benchmarks that have been refined over decades of competitive lifting data. Strength standards exist for a reason. They give you an objective reference point, they help you identify weaknesses, and they tell you whether your programming is actually working or just keeping you busy. The 4 lifts that matter for general strength assessment are the squat, bench press, deadlift, and overhead press. Each one tests a fundamental movement pattern and a major muscle group chain. For the squat, a bodyweight squat for a single rep is a baseline that most untrained adults can't hit cleanly. A 1.5 times bodyweight squat represents solid intermediate strength. 2 times bodyweight puts you in advanced territory. Beyond that, you're approaching competitive numbers. The bench press typically runs lower. A bodyweight bench is a respectable milestone. 1.25 times bodyweight is strong. 1.5 times bodyweight is advanced by any standard. The deadlift is where the highest numbers live because it involves the most muscle mass. 1.5 times bodyweight is a solid baseline. 2 times bodyweight is where things get serious. 2.5 times bodyweight and above is elite level pulling. The overhead press is the most humbling. Half your body weight for a clean single is harder than it sounds. 0.75 times body weight is strong. A bodyweight overhead press puts you in rare company. These numbers scale with body weight, which is what makes them useful. A 180-pound person squatting 315 and a 135-pound person squatting 235 are demonstrating similar relative strength. Raw numbers without context are meaningless. The value of tracking against standards isn't to feel good or bad about where you are, it's to identify imbalances. If your deadlift is 2 times body weight but your squat is barely 1.2, that gap tells you something about your training priorities. If your bench is strong but your overhead press is lagging, that's a shoulder stability conversation worth having. Test your maxes every 8 to 12 weeks under controlled conditions. Log the numbers, calculate the ratios, compare to the previous test. This is how you know if your programming is driving balanced development or just reinforcing existing strengths. The Swole journal tracks your tested maxes and calculates body weight ratios automatically. See exactly where you stand, where you're improving, and where you need work. Get yours at swolejournal.com.